Harmony. Welcome, guys. I'm Sam from Wholesome Content Only, and today I'm here with my friend Andrew. Do you feel like we're casual right now?
No, I don't think so.
Just because like the cameras,
The cameras
are all
are-
there, it feels so.
Yeah, it
Oh my
feels a
gosh.
little bit like we're in front of people.
Yeah,
And yeah,
and it's kind of nervous.
yeah,
So
a little bit.
yeah, but I don't know. When I first wanted to do a podcast, you were the first person that came to mind. I was like, oh, I remember on the band trip you mentioned wanting to do an Endgame podcast because we were gonna watch Avengers the next day.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I was really excited about Endgame, so we kind of just thought of these theories. We were anticipating watching it, but we weren't really sure if we were going to.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of uncertainty and expectations going with it. So it was just kind of fan theorizing. I think we'll get into that later, right? With the topics.
Oh yeah. So today we'll be talking about music and Marvel, and hopefully, I guess we'll start off a little bit with music. So you have a YouTube channel too.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, you have 6 times the amount of subscribers I have.
I do.
It's 6 plus a couple.
Oh,
I guess.
okay.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I guess I should start with an introduction. So Andrew, he already introduced that. I've had a YouTube channel since 2016, I think. I don't really have a consistent upload schedule, but I think that's okay. We're busy. We're in school.
Okay.
So usually what my content is just fingerstyle guitar covers, and that's about it.
Recently you uploaded a singing video too.
Oh, I did. It was with this exact same setup, actually. So
Yeah.
instead of me and me, it's now me and you.
Yeah.
So
Because I looked at that video and then you mentioned that it would be the exact same setup if we did the podcast at your house.
Right,
So I was
so-
like, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
And I guess now we ended up here with 2 cameras
and 2 people.
and 2 people. And we're matching hoodies too.
We didn't plan this.
This is not planned.
We didn't plan this.
Yeah, because I woke up this morning, I was like, what does it look like? What should I wear for the podcast?
Yeah.
And so I put on this. Is that what you were thinking too?
Yeah, I was thinking with that casual tone. I was like, yeah, hoodie, casual. It has to work. So this was one of the nicer hoodies I had. So like, okay.
Yeah,
It just so happened that we also wore the same thing.
Yeah, that's good. So we're both casual. Not the content here. We're very not casual
Yes,
right now.
we're very casual.
Okay. So I guess you mentioned earlier that you started your YouTube channel in 2016, right?
Yes.
Which grade were we in back then?
Grade 10.
Grade 10. Oh.
Or was it grade 10?
I don't know. I just always remembered you as a YouTuber.
Oh, really? That's so
Yeah.
that's so weird. Isn't it? No, I don't consider myself that at all.
Oh.
I usually just upload videos for fun. Or
Yeah.
yeah, for fun. And hopefully a lot of people watch it, but it's been okay. I have some hits. Hits meaning
Yeah, I see some of your videos hit like a couple thousand views too.
yeah, and some of them get 100, but like that's okay. It's we're starting off, so hopefully we continue the trends of going up. And maybe it'll lead somewhere someday.
Yeah. Okay. I remember I was looking through your Instagram channel.
Oh.
Your Instagram. Sorry. And then I was going through all the older guitar videos
You
that
were?
you were doing. Yeah, no, it was like
When was this?
when was this? I
don't
feel
know.
like a stalker.
Well,
This this was back in grade 11 where I uploaded like fingerstyle Castle on the Hill, I think, or something.
oh, you did?
Yeah, and then you were like, "Oh, you're like me when I first started." So then I looked through some of your old videos.
Okay.
And when did you start guitar? Actually,
I started actually in junior high. I didn't know anything in grade 8. I had a
Oh.
guitar class for a trimester, which is about 3-4 months. And I just basically learned basic chords there, and I kind of had zero foundation. did have a foundation with music, but nothing with guitar specifically. So I guess I've been playing for 5 years? 4
5
years.
years.
4 to 5 years. Yeah. And
Wow.
I think I've come a long way with that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I remember uploading my first video, and I thought it was so good. It's not.
You look back now.
Yeah, I look back. It's like, oh wow, okay. There's not a lot of like. Yeah, I played like notes, but it didn't sound very musical, which is a big part. So I guess like the fact that I started uploading pretty early, even though I wasn't like super good, I'm still not super good. But you get to see the progress, and I think that's one of the most interesting things about starting things like this, including this YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's impressive because It's amazing for me to think now too, because we met in grade 9.
Yeah.
Right? And I've always like I remember since the beginning I was like, oh, that's Andrew Chi, YouTube channel and good at guitar.
Yeah,
And
I think that's what a lot of people thought too. It's
yeah,
just like, yeah.
and it's crazy because you only started a year before
Mm-hmm.
I met you. I guess it's been crazy like with music, because I know us like we played around in band together, right? You started clarinet in grade 9 too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grade 9.
How was clarinet actually?
Well, okay, so flashback to grade 9.
Mm-hmm.
I started. No, okay, let's go back to grade 8 where we're picking our options. Right?
Yeah.
So for the full year, I was like, I don't want to do Autored again.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So then I was like, oh, what's left? There was drama, which I don't know why I picked it. I did pick it.
did pick it.
I was in drama for a few days.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, I hate this. I'm gonna leave. I have to leave. but I didn't want to go back to Autored. So then I was like, okay, what else is there? Then there was band. I was like, okay, I think I could do pretty good in it. I've had a background with music, with guitar, and also just playing piano. Yeah, so then I joined that, and then the teacher comes up. He's like, yeah, what instrument do you want to play? I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then he's just like, okay, you're a clarinet. I'm like, okay, I'll go as a clarinet. And he brought me in like during lunch hours to practice, and I think I got it down like at an okay pace.
Yeah.
The first few classes, I didn't play. I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, but slowly I got better and better, and I think it's at an okay level of
I don't
clarinet.
know. That's crazy. Because I can't imagine you being a drama student at all either.
Thank you. Yeah.
But it's like, oh no, I've seen your acting. It's like pretty okay.
I try.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I know in grade 10 you also played clarinet. Right?
yeah,
That was your last year as clarinet.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and I remember even though you've only been playing for 1 year, you sound better than everyone.
Oh, well, maybe, but I guess it's a lot with practice, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not about like how long you've been playing, but like how much time within that time frame that you've been playing. So like,
Oh, that's true.
let's say somebody started guitar when he was 5 years old, but never really played it, and he could say, "Oh, I've been playing since I was 5 years old, but I've been playing for 5 years only," and there's a chance that I'm probably better than them. Not to flex, but
Okay.
yeah, it's down to like dedication and how much effort you're willing to put into whatever you're doing.
That's true. Yeah. So for yourself personally, like how much have you found yourself practicing guitar, or how long did it take you to get to this?
Oh, that's the thing I forgot. I mind blanked earlier, and I remembered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so in grade 8, I started, and I started with basic chords. I didn't know much, but I found guitar to be really interesting. I remember myself at night, maybe 1 a.m. I was in my bed. I'd have a guitar, and I'd be playing guitar chords and like playing along with songs, and it wasn't that good, but I was getting somewhere, and I thought it was fun, so I just kept going along with it, even though it was so late. Yeah, and I'm not the type of person to stay up and like do things. I'm usually like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed at 11 and just do everything I need to do tomorrow. So, me staying up to play guitar, I guess it did pay off, but it was also a little bit out of character for me
Okay.
in terms of what I was learning. So, yeah, I think with that I spent a lot of time. By grade 9, like so a year's time, I think I've gotten like a considerable amount better. Even with my second upload, I thought it was a lot better. So there's that progress. I think with guitar, or no, but for me specifically, learning the guitar, I think I've like kind of tapered off as of now. But there's this time period where I just got a lot better, and it's
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like that.
There's a
what was
learning
it?
curve.
Yeah, the learning curve. Okay. No, that's inspirational. I feel like I'm hearing the birth of a legend. You're gonna be
Oh,
famous
no.
one day. It's like,
I mean, I say oh no, but I guess I do hope for that.
yeah,
Yeah, like
deep down.
yeah, I guess like even if it's not like the main thing I'm doing, it's still a thing that I'm doing,
Yeah.
and I think that'll be actually like really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you hope to see yourself like grow your YouTube channel to a point where you can monetize it, or?
Yeah, I actually hope I can get to that point.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not much else to say.
I guess so.
A lot of people are there, and it does suck that a lot of like as music creators and cover artists, they don't get a lot of the monetization money because that they're other people's songs. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so if that does become a thing, I don't think that'll be my primary income anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it'll just stick to being something that I'm doing for fun. And like,
yeah.
I think that's like the best part of it.
Yeah, because it's something you love, and
Yeah.
yeah, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I guess I was gonna mention it earlier actually. So like, throughout our high school years, we've had a lot of cool experiences in music. I think just in this past year, I remember we did like an a cappella Avengers theme
Oh, that was
in our band trip
that was-
hotel.
yeah.
That was cool. And then I think we also tried writing a song too.
Yeah, we did. We're getting there.
We're getting there. And then
New
maybe
content,
one day,
New video someday soon.
hopefully. And so, where were we actually? We were talking about the song.
You were talking about, oh yeah, our song.
Oh yeah, and so yeah, we've had like a lot of cool experiences with music. I guess my main interactions with you have been through
Music
too.
Yeah.
Like, have we gone to just hang out normally?
I mean, yeah. Well, I guess not just us two, right? We're always
Yeah.
with a group of friends.
That's true.
Yeah. If it's just us, it's usually music.
Yeah,
Yeah. But like, I think that's like a interesting thing because music kind of brings people together.
that's true.
Yeah.
It sounds cheesy to say, but like,
It's true.
yeah, that is
It's true.
it's how it's been for us.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself going in music? Were you interested in joining like a band or like some kind of? Because we did jazz, right?
Yeah, we did.
Did you want to continue something like that?
I mean, yes and no. Yes, because it was a lot of fun. No, because I'm currently in engineering.
Oh yeah.
That's I don't. Yeah, the time is. Oh, whatever. Yeah, the timing. I don't know if that works very well with doing multiple things at once with that, because I do need to focus on school, and if that's not good, then nothing else would be good potentially. But I think focusing on that right now would be good, and then if I do want to pursue something in music in the future, I'm definitely not. I'm definitely open for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
like as of right now, I think it's just kind of like a smaller hobby that I would have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of jazz band, like, what were some of your favorite memories through band? Like, maybe not even jazz band, but like in concert band too. You were in band for 4 years, right?
Okay, so in grade 9, I was in concert and jazz. In grade 10. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wasn't in jazz in grade 9, so.
Yeah, you weren't.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually hated jazz band in grade 9. I was playing the guitar.
Yeah.
And I just didn't think I thought it was the worst thing ever with all these jazz
Oh,
chords that
really?
I did not know. Yeah.
Oh.
And all these bar chords, and like, I hated it. Or I didn't hate it, but it wasn't the most fun thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I did not do it in grade 10. In grade 10, I was only in concert band with the clarinet. And then in grade 11, with a bunch of friends, they kind of persuaded me into
Yeah.
joining jazz band. I was like, okay, I'll pick it up again. The guitar, I think I've gotten better, and the chords, because I did learn a lot of
Yeah.
the bass chords in grade 9. So coming into it again in grade 11 wasn't as hard because I had kind of a foundation. So it was just kind of building it up.
Yeah, no, that's cool to hear actually, because I remember like I joined jazz band at the same time with you in grade 11.
Yeah, in grade
right?
11.
Yeah, no. So I remember I played with you in grade 9 in concert band and grade 10 in concert band, and then we joined jazz together.
Yeah, and then we joined jazz.
Yeah, because and I remember like I didn't see you practicing as hard as me, but you like
that's true,
you kind of
yeah.
just got it as
Yeah.
So that's surprising to hear that like you didn't like it in grade 9 because of the jazz chords.
Yeah.
Because you seem to just do
Yeah,
it
well,
'cause-
there's also a learning curve again, but like a lot of chords that you learn, once you know it, it's just muscle memory, right? So it's just one and done, and then you just kind of add more.
Yeah.
And the more you know, I think the more fun it is.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
you get to play around with more things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you get to be more expressive, you get to be more stylistic in your choices, and I think having more to add to that makes it a lot better.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like regarding that, did you find there was a huge difference between jazz and concert? I personally found jazz a lot more fun.
Yeah, I think jazz overall is more fun, but I feel because for me, with my song choices, I think I like the style of concert band better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's definitely not as fun as you don't get to explore a lot of how music is in a sense because you're a lot more restrictive with like even dynamics and like articulation and all that. You kind of need to be more like, I guess, professional. Jazz is more not. It's more free. It's more.
Yeah, no, I get, I get what you're trying to say, because
Yeah.
I remember when I played the bass in grade 11 and 12, I think at the end, I just kind of threw away the sheet music, and I see the notes go up, I would play up the scale, I see them go down, I would play, I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah, right.
So-
So So like with you, you just picked up the bass in grade 11. What
yeah.
was that like?
It was really interesting actually because I had practiced the saxophone a lot
Oh,
for
yeah,
a
right.
couple months.
Yeah,
and
you were planning to
yeah,
join the sax.
I was preparing to play alto.
Yeah.
And then I walked in on the first day. Our band teacher, he came up to us. We need a bass.
Yeah.
It's like, can you play the bass? I'm like, okay. I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
And so it's like similar to how you started clarinet too, right?
Oh yeah, right. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just out of nowhere, right?
Yeah,
And
no.
it's just, okay, this is what you have to
And where
do.
did that bring you? Did you like where that brought you?
The clarinet? I actually do like the clarinet.
Yeah.
It just with concert band, I didn't like the theory, so I never stuck with it.
Yeah.
So even for like commencement, I picked up the clarinet after 2 years of not playing it, and I just learned a song to perform in front of everyone, and I think that went pretty smoothly, all things considered. Like I don't consider myself as someone who plays the clarinet, even
Okay.
though I do know how. Like
Yeah.
the only thing I would consider myself is someone that can play the guitar. Even with piano, I've had lessons for about 4 or 5 years. I'm not that good, but with the time I've spent with piano, which I think is more than guitar, I think I've gotten a lot better with guitar because I've just felt more I just wanted to learn it.
It's
instead of
just like, yeah, your thing.
yeah, but that's not to take away from what I've learned from piano. Piano, it's so easy to learn the music theory behind it, and I think that helped with like learning the guitar, with the chords and how the way they move up the neck. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. No, I guess like we make time for the things we love too.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay. And so, I guess, we were talking earlier, I mentioned it, and then we went off on a tangent, but
Oh.
what was your favorite memory
Oh, yeah, right.
from band? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was starting with how I got into band. So I want to say, overall, it's just like band trips, because you don't get that experience with like other options.
Yeah,
Right?
no, that's true.
Yeah, so you're kind of like stuck with your band people. You all have that love for music, and then you kind of just hang around and like it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I remember like in grade 11 and 12, the only reason I still stayed in jazz band was because of the band trips.
Oh, really?
Yes, yeah. Which one was your favorite band trip? Like, tell us about.
I
Yours?
think overall, I want to say grade 10 where we went to Vancouver, because compared to Calgary and compared to Sun Peaks, they don't come close to Vancouver as a city
Yeah,
or like as a location, right? So I think Vancouver was the most exciting because we did like the most interesting things, I think. Yeah, so like in grade 10 we did a lot.
Yeah, I know. I was there too, but I just want you to tell us a bit about it.
Oh, okay.
What did we do?
You might have to help me. I might forget something. So I know we did. We went to the aquarium.
Yeah.
And we saw a bunch of protesters.
Wait, did we?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they were telling us about how holding them captive wasn't good for them.
Oh.
And I was like, oh gosh, this is scary. Because there's a lot of them.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, and like there was this giant group of band kids going to something they don't support. It's like, are they gonna do anything to us? Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. But after we got in, everything was fine. It was the aquarium. That was fun.
Yeah.
And then one thing that I remember you saying you liked a lot was Fly Over Canada.
Yes. Yes, I love that.
Yeah, you want to tell us about that?
Oh, okay. So like Fly Over Canada was this thing that we did. I think it was like one of those 4D rides where we got to sit on. It was like movie theater seats, right? And
Yeah.
then they like moved around. It was a simulation of like a flight experience, flying over Canada. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I remember it would like fly over pastures, and then you would smell manure.
Oh, yeah, right.
You remember that?
Yeah,
they had like smells and sound and wind. Was there water spraying too?
I'm not sure about the water. I know there was wind and sound
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was a really amazing experience. I love that, and that was the last time I went to any 4D kind of thing. So
Yeah, I think that would be the same for me too. Like
Okay.
Like even though that was like a while ago, like I still remember that as like a very vivid memory, and like I like that. It kind of stuck with me. I like the brand trips.
Yeah. No, that
Yeah.
was good, and I remember. I guess the band trips were notorious for being like drama filled.
Oh yeah, they
something,
were.
'cause-
You're stuck with the same people.
Yeah.
You're bound to have some kind of conflict or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And every time we come back, people start making fun of us. Like,
Yeah.
so much drama happened. Well,
Yeah.
how did you personally feel about that? Like.
I feel like me saying this gives the impression of, oh, he's full of drama. But I don't think I'm involved in a lot of drama.
Yeah.
I don't really like drama. Actually, no, I don't know if I can say that. I do like hearing from the sidelines, right? I think a lot of people can relate to that. Yeah, but on the bus it was like people spilling stories about other people.
That's true.
Yeah, kind of. I guess doing that isn't good. You're gonna color some words somehow.
Yeah.
Whether you think about it or not. So it gives people, like, some people a bad image either way. But it was interesting to hear.
Yeah, it was.
Although when you're doing that, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. So I don't know if I want to support it, but it's like a thing that happens. I think it's just like nothing too big of a deal. It's just there.
Yeah, I guess like we're all just kids. We're excited. We're thrown on a bus and we're gonna live like away from home for a couple of days
It's
together.
like, hey, what's there to talk about? Oh, remember that kid? I hate him. Yeah, you don't remember what he did to me? It's kind of like that.
It was like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's not something I would outright say. Like I don't like that kind. I personally don't like gossip either. But I guess
Right.
I guess I'm still guilty of some of that too. Like I like listening to that.
Yeah.
It's
And
I can't deny it.
Yeah, it's kind of like watching us like some kind of drama, right? Like
Yeah,
it's just, I guess dramas are more exaggerated, but like
That's
real life stuff, and like you can relate, you know, the people. I think it adds another layer of
yeah.
interestingness. Is that a word?
I-
It's
I-
a word now.
Okay. Yeah, it like it's like it makes you more curious. Right?
Yeah,
And curiosity killed the cat. But
Yeah.
it's there. Okay, that's true.
So and the
I guess we
drama.
can move on from that now.
Okay, no, well, I think something was interesting as we went from grade 10 to 12. The drama slowed down, and like eventually, like after we got that all out of our system, it got better, right?
Yeah,
Would you
no,
say
that's
so?
true. I saw that too.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like in grade 12, was there any drama?
No, like grade 12 was chill. I remember
Yeah,
that.
we
That
were-
was the highlight.
Yeah, I think Oh yeah, I was gonna get to that.
Yeah.
I'll get to that in a bit.
Okay.
But yeah, as the drama kind of decreased.
Decreased, yeah.
Yeah. So with that, we're just like people that we just know and like. Oh gosh, I don't know the words.
People that we're familiar with.
Yeah, familiar. You kind of just look past everything and just like, oh hey, I know you. We're friends. And it's cool. And
Yeah.
it kind of creates like a kind of, I don't want to say family, but like a little bit of that, where you just kind of just don't care and there's nothing much to like. You're just there.
Yeah,
Right? Like it's a
yeah.
group and you kind of accept the fact.
Yeah.
And like it's fine, it's fun, and you get to just hang around with them in a place that you don't normally get to do that, in like a not stressful environment like school. And yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that's true. And it's interesting that you said like in grade 12 we kind of felt more like a family, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I remember in grade 10 we had this ongoing joke that we were like a family. I remember.
Oh, yeah, we did
Were
that.
you were like the second youngest child or something?
Yeah,
and
it
I was
was
the
like-
oldest. And
Yeah, it was like arranged by our birthdays or something.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I think I was a middle child.
yeah. And then we had one of our friends as the mom, right?
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Li Ying. I don't know if she wants her name on this.
Oh.
Yeah. So what's interesting was that like I remember I guess we hung out a lot more like because I personally thought we felt like closer in the beginning and then
Yeah.
in grade 12 I guess like in a way it was kind of like senioritis. We stopped caring as much about things. So
maybe.
it didn't feel as close, but it also felt like peaceful in a way.
Yeah. I think peaceful is a really good word to go with that. Yeah, I guess we weren't like, because the way they did it, they separate us into groups, right?
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's to make us hang around with like everyone in band, or like in the music program in general. Would you say that's a good thing?
I think I can understand why the teachers want that,
Right.
right? Like, I guess when you're a leader over something, it's like you want to see everyone have unity, right?
That's true.
But then I also felt that like having that forced upon me as a participant, it didn't feel like natural in a way,
That's-
or I didn't take that very well. I guess, yeah. Did you? How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I think I have like the same opinion as you, but like I do understand the teacher side. Like,
Yeah.
Let's say there's one kid who doesn't have many friends, right? And like, who do they talk to, right?
Yeah.
So like by putting us in a group, then they kind of have to, and like it makes it brings everyone together.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we've been experiencing a lot of. Oh no, I moved the table.
Oh, that's fine.
So we've been experiencing a lot of technical difficulties. Like the cameras have been stopping. The audio's fine. I don't know. We haven't.
I think the audio's fine.
Okay, yeah, because I remember some parts might be a lot louder than the others.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have to normalize that. I guess so. That will conclude the music portion for today, and we're gonna try and see if we can fix some of this. I guess we'll upload the videos.
Yeah.
And
We'll come
clear
back.
out the SD cards.
Yeah.
We'll be back after a short break.
But for you, it'll be right
Now.
Oh,
And we're back.
and we're back.
Okay. So, I guess, yeah, what we wanted to talk about today, our first prompt was music, and the second one was
Marvel.
Marvel. Okay, so
Yeah.
I know you're a huge Marvel fan.
Yes, I am.
And if we had the camera going around here, I can see like a bunch of Marvel movie posters.
Yeah.
How far back does it go?
It goes back to the beginning of Phase 3. So that would
Okay.
be 2016. It starts with Civil War. And that's like I guess it's the start of the road to Endgame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wait, so can you just explain to me, because what exactly is Phase 3? Can you just specify?
Oh, okay. So the whole MCU,
Yeah.
the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is I don't know if they're gonna continue with the phases going on after, but Phase 1, 2, and 3. So Phase 1 was the last movie in that phase was Avengers, the first one.
Oh, okay.
So Phase 1 was bringing each of the four main Avengers with their own movies, and then bringing it to the Avengers. So I guess that was like the culmination, the first Avengers. So
Okay.
that ended Phase 1 in a pretty good way.
Oh, so it was like introducing the characters.
Yeah, introducing the characters and then bring them together.
Okay.
So Phase 2 was a similar idea. It ended with, or I guess it didn't end with Age of Ultron, the second Avengers. It ended with Ant-Man, but like that was kind of a smaller introduction, and I think it was a good way to
Okay.
taper off into Phase 3. So with Phase 2, you kind of you're introduced to like the sequels of the first few.
Yeah.
Like Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. Hulk did have a movie. So like those four.
Oh, okay.
And Iron Man 2. So those 5 plus Avengers was the 6 movies of Phase 1.
Okay. So they were still introducing characters in Phase 2.
Yeah. So
Okay.
they brought in, who did they bring in? Kind of drawing a blank. So I know Phase 2 had. Actually, they might all be sequels in Phase 2. I know it started with Iron Man. It had Thor: The Dark World, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and I actually can't pinpoint everything.
Tell us a bit about Phase 3 then. As well. It ended at Endgame, right? Am I?
Phase 3.
Yeah.
It actually ended with Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Oh, okay.
Which
and so
I think that kind of mirrors Phase 2, where you had a really huge Avengers movie following up with like a smaller, lighter kind of toned movie. So
Okay.
Ant-Man and Spider-Man. Far From
Okay,
Home.
so what came before Spider-Man in Phase 3?
Yeah, that would be Endgame. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you were talking about Spider-Man Homecoming, so I was a bit
Oh,
confused.
yeah, no, Far From Home.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh, so Endgame was right before.
Yeah.
I remember. And we watched Endgame, I guess. I remember on the band trip.
or
you
on the
mentioned
band
earlier.
trip, yeah.
We couldn't do the podcast, but I think
Yeah.
that's what like got the idea in my head.
Of doing this
podcast.
podcast?
Yeah. So I guess what had we intended, or what had you guys intended?
Right. So we just finished watching Endgame. I came back a mess. I was crying for a good 30 minutes after the ending. I think we can go with spoilers in this.
I think so. So from this point on, there will be spoilers. So if you haven't watched Endgame,
What are you
please
doing?
Turn
first?
away now.
Yeah. Okay. So Endgame has been out for a while, so I think we should be clear.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of blanking because it's been a while. I know that there was something about, or how about we just talk about like all the character journeys.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think doing so would give us places of where we thought the character would go, and places where they did go, and how we felt about that. Is that a good idea?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
because I haven't watched all the movies.
Okay.
Like it's like bits and pieces there, so I'm a little uncultured. You'll
Okay,
have to.
okay.
You have
Okay,
to
so
explain.
you're okay with spoilers for those movies? Like,
I'm okay because
Okay.
I've watched like the big ones like Endgame,
Okay.
and so yeah.
right. So I guess should we start off with Iron Man, Captain America? Who do we want to start with?
I guess I'm gonna start with Iron Man because
Okay.
I think he's one of my favorites.
Okay. So should we start from like Phase 1 where he started off initially?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Phase 1, or Iron Man 1. He was this weapons manufacturer, Stark Industries. And then he gets kidnapped by the Mandarin. We don't know that it's the Mandarin yet, and I guess I can get into what the Mandarin is later. So he kind of goes through this arc in the first movie where he learns that not everything should be about himself. I mean, he doesn't fully learn that. Like for the rest most of his movies that he's in, it's him learning to be better. It's him trying to do something to prevent some huge downfall, right? He's kind of like a tragic hero in that sense, where he's trying to do the best, but he kind of just gets so close and he fails until Endgame, where he actually does realize that.
Yeah.
So like that's a big moment for him.
I guess that's cool to hear, because in Endgame you see that huge climax of like him becoming that hero.
Yeah, and I think like throughout, because his involvement with the whole series, when he's faced with that last moment in Endgame, it's this moment where it's not only about him and his arc, but how he influenced all of those characters around him, and how we react as audiences, and how they react as people who work with Iron Man. Right, so I think like seeing their reaction to that is just as powerful as his moment in doing that.
Honestly, the climax of that movie, it hit me pretty hard too, and I guess I wasn't as attached to all the characters as you were, because I saw you like
So for me, thinking back to Iron Man 1, 2008, that's the first movie that started the whole thing, and like growing up with that for 10 years, 11 years.
11 years, yeah.
11 years, 2008 to 2019.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time to be essentially growing alongside them, seeing their character develop over the course of a few movies, and then seeing where they're left with, or like seeing where they end off. So that effectively the MCU was like half of my lifetime.
Okay.
And it's still going to be going. So like there's definitely an attachment there. So to these characters, seeing what happens to them really matters. And I think it goes for the same for a lot of people too. So there's some people that grow up reading the comics, watching animated TV shows and all that. So they potentially there's definitely people that have much larger investment into these characters and who they are. And I think it just goes a long way to see what has been built over the course of time, and with patience with all the people at Marvel doing this. Because like you have DC who is trying to do this kind of stuff, but it's a little bit like they're playing catch up with the MCU, right? So they're like rushing into these characters. They're not fully developing them. So it kind of leaves the audiences in like, do I really like? I don't know if I can like. Yeah, do you really care?
Okay,
right. They need like background. They need to be understood, and they need to know. You need to know where they're coming from and why they're doing what they're doing.
Okay, so that has a lot to do with depth.
Yeah, I think that comes with a lot of it, and like I want to say that each movie isn't very depth in as far as where the story goes. Like it's not kind of like Inception. Did you watch Inception?
No, I have not. I've heard of it. Like I've seen the memes.
Okay. Okay. What other movie is what would be a really deep movie that you think has a lot of layers and like?
Oh, okay. That's a tough question, because I don't watch a lot of movies.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. So you do know that like there are movies that like they just go so deep, and like there's different ways of looking at it. There's some that leave it ambiguous at the endings, leaving the audience to decide the ending.
Yeah.
So there are movies like that, but I think the MCU, their movies are very, I guess, basic in the way that they're easy to understand and I guess geared to like a general audience that just gets everybody.
Yeah.
So with that, a lot of the development and depth in those movies, despite being basic on a story level, is that you give the characters depth and you give them something to care about, so that the people watching the movie feel connected. They feel like they're they know the characters personally, and I think that goes a long way in determining how well a movie is received. And I think that's why the MCU is so successful, is with their characters, not so much so the plot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I can see some of that. And it's really cool how you framed it too. Like you said, like first Iron Man came out in 2008, and it's something that you grew up watching.
Right.
I think it's really cool when you think about like the success of developing the characters over that amount of time. Because that's like, is that something you expected in the beginning, or something you saw coming?
Well, I guess I can start off with like I didn't start with Iron Man.
Okay.
I've watched some of the movies in and out, but the point where I got like hooked in was Age of Ultron. So that was 2015.
Yeah. Which
is like halfway through, but there's still 2015 to 2019, and even then I've watched the Avengers beforehand. I wasn't heavily invested. So with that, there's definitely that growth, and I think that really affects the way you receive the characters and how you perceive them.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's interesting. And so I guess going back to Iron Man.
Oh yeah,
like,
right. We went off on a tangent. His
right,
character.
yeah. Specifically Iron Man. I guess how did? Oh, we did talk about we talked about
Well, I didn't get too far with where
Okay.
he ended off in the middle and like I guess we all know what happens at the end.
yeah.
So I think, how about we can talk about Iron Man and Captain America as character foils?
Okay, yeah,
Because I think their energies feed off each other. It's so strong.
that's true. That's true.
The way their ideologies are essentially flipped, but their main goal to be a hero, right?
Yeah.
And I guess there's many ways of doing that, and Iron Man and Captain America specifically, they just clash, and I think it gives really good, I guess, content on screen.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And I guess from like what I've watched of Marvel too,
Right.
I guess just Captain America and Iron Man, they like you said, they feed off of each other, and it's a lot of the most iconic clips actually. My favorite,
Oh.
some of my favorite parts are just those two like interacting with each
Do
other.
you have like a specific frame
Yeah.
or movie from it, or like a scene from a movie?
I guess my favorite was probably in Age of Ultron, I believe, when they were cutting wood, and then
Oh.
Stark was like, "Don't touch my pile." And
Oh,
then
yeah.
he had like
Right.
a huge one. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. And so, how do you think their relationship evolved over the course of
Right.
the
Okay.
movies?
So I'm gonna start off saying how Iron Man started off really self-centered and like doing
Self-centered.
something just for the sake of himself.
Yeah.
And then towards Endgame, he becomes someone who he literally sacrifices himself for the entire universe, right? And then if you look at Captain America, did you watch that movie?
Which one?
The first Captain America.
I don't remember much about it. I remember seeing bits and pieces.
Okay.
I don't think I watched the whole thing.
So there's this scene where some sergeant or some I don't know, some war person, or not a war, like someone at the military
Yeah.
camp. He throws a grenade, a fake grenade.
Okay, I remember that part.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he throws a fake grenade, and then everyone runs,
Mm-hmm.
but there's weak. He hasn't had the serum yet, right?
Yeah.
So he's this weak, essentially pathetic person, but he has that heart. He runs to the grenade, puts his body over it, and says, "Every person, get out." He's trying to sacrifice himself for the greater good, and that's what Tony does in Endgame. But as you look through their movies, you see Captain America at the very end, who goes back in time, does something for himself, and just has his life with Peggy, right? So like that's a complete opposite. Like their characters just they flipped.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, and that's cool when you mentioned like at the end, because
Yeah.
I didn't notice that at all.
Oh.
yeah, no, that's cool when you put it into that kind of.
And I think like the point with most tension, where they're kind of meeting in the middle, was Civil War.
yeah,
And I think that's a
yeah.
very good like point to like look at where their characters, because that's like a direct conflict. Tony is I don't know if he was the main antagonist, but he definitely was one of them in Civil War. Oh, okay. Actually, I don't know the timing on yours.
It'll click.
Okay.
So it's probably the same. Right, and so Civil War, yeah.
Yeah, Civil War. So you have Tony, who's for the Accords, and for the Accords, it's do you remember what they were?
I don't remember what was it. Could you just refresh that?
Yeah. So for those who also don't know, it's this act where it says superheroes have to
Right. Okay.
right
I remember
be
now.
regulated,
Yeah.
right? Because like let's say you have this giant nuclear bomb, you're not gonna just let some private organization deal with it, right? Like as a government, from the government side, it's probably not the safest thing for them, or in their best interest, to let a private organization to deal with that. So there's that side to argue for Iron Man's side, with what happened in Age of Ultron, which is where most of the reason for the Accords comes up, the Sokovia Accords, which is where they had that. You remember Ultron like lifted up the city?
Yeah, and then
Like that basically destroy the whole city, and like that's crazy. So someone needed to be held accountable for that, right? But there you have the Avengers just passing through foreign borders and all that, and even though they are doing the right thing, essentially the reason for Ultron was because of the Avengers. So yeah, they saved the day, but they were the ones who created the problem, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So like there needs to be some accountability. And with that, Tony, he essentially created Ultron, so he feels like he's at fault. He wants to do something about it to make his wrongs right.
Oh.
Yeah. And then there you have Captain America, who he was part of he was very pro government. Like,
Yeah.
you should have, or in the first Captain America, he's there
Yeah.
for the military. He's like, yeah, this is my country. He's gonna fight for it.
He's a boomer.
Um,
you say so?
No, he's not. He's actually before.
not?
He's before. No, boomers are after 1945. Right?
Oh, it was after
he was
the war.
he was-
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
So
he was during the war.
So he's what is that?
I don't know. Gen. Y? No, not Y. X.
No, or maybe Gen X. I don't know.
I have no clue. Okay. Anyways, aside
Anyways.
from that, yeah, you were mentioning
Yeah.
where we.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, let's go to the authorities, right?
Yeah.
He had believed in a higher figure, and then here comes the Winter Soldier, where essentially most of his identity comes from being Captain America, right? He's just a soldier. He's looking to listen to the higher ups, and then gonna execute those orders. And Winter Soldier, he realizes that essentially what he believed in was Shield, and realizing that they were infiltrated by a corrupt government.
Yeah.
Or not a government, but like Hydra.
Hydra. Yeah.
Yeah. There's his whole ideology is like, where do I go from here?
Okay.
Yeah. So there you have him who now is after the events of the Winter Soldier, he's against the government. But then Tony, through the events of Age of Ultron, wants government. So they make a flip from their beginnings into the middle, the Civil War, where their ideologies are flipped, and here they are again with the clash again.
Yeah. No, that's interesting because, like you mentioned earlier, that through their entire paths, just they have like ideologies that differ, and they change at the same time through
Right.
their own lines as well. And
Yes.
at the same time, it's also like their path to becoming a hero.
Yeah.
And just the contrast is really cool.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's one of like the best things part. Like, there's definitely other characters like Black Widow, Hawkeye. They have their own kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, they're separate characters, but they definitely feed off each other as well.
Okay.
You have Hulk and Thor, who also have that kind of same
Yeah,
energy. But I guess like the biggest, because they're kind of marketed that way, is Iron Man and Captain America.
Yeah.
Which is I guess why we're focusing on that too. Yeah. So after the events of Civil War, I guess things didn't go out the way as they wanted to.
Yeah.
Eventually, Captain America and Iron Man, I guess I dislike each other, but they definitely have that respect. I don't know if you've like noticed in Infinity War, Tony has his phone, but he doesn't want to call him, right? Like he it's been how long since Civil War to Infinity War?
I don't know. The one movie that came in between was Black Panther, right? Did I see?
Yeah, Black Panther.
Yeah. Okay. And so I don't know, because I remember the phone vividly.
Yeah. So he received that towards the end of Civil War, and then Infinity War comes.
Yeah. Okay.
He still has that phone on him. He's kind of carrying a part of Steve Rogers with him the whole time, and I think that says a lot about what their relationship is. Even though they have their differences, they definitely respect each other, and like that's like very, like it's good.
Yeah.
It's good, and it kind of is a way for the Avengers to just the Avengers.
Yeah, and I guess another symbol like that was a part of that too was Captain America's shield, because I remember at the end of Civil War they were at each other's throats, right? And then I think Captain America's shield, he broke the core thing.
Yeah,
and
okay.
Yeah, and then not in Infinity War, but in Endgame, like the next time they actually got together and reconciled, you see Stark giving him the shield back. I think that moment was like really.
Yeah, I think it was a really really good moment because I think one, it was something we were expecting, and two, it's like the shield is a symbol for like Captain America, right?
Yeah. So
giving that up was like, okay, where does that leave Captain America? So you have his character deviating away from that whole ideal that was like he was fighting against the Civil War, right? So finally dropping that kind of made his character grow a little bit more into who he became.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then giving that back was kind of a way for Tony to reconcile, like you said. And that symbol, and because his father made it, and like he says at the very end of Civil War, or not very end, but he's like, yeah, my father made that shield, right?
Yeah.
So like that's kind of Tony trying to win in some way, right?
Yeah.
But then Cap's like, okay, I don't care. He's gonna drop the shield.
That's true.
Yeah.
I remember him doing that.
Yeah. So giving it back was like him taking back those words, I think. And I think that was a really cool moment because Tony doesn't usually admit he's wrong, but I think by him doing that is like, yeah, I was wrong. Here it is. And not only that, but he says like, or by giving the shield, it's him saying sorry, which is something you don't really see from him, right? He's kind of like selfish, self-centered, and his ego's up there, right?
Yeah.
And like for him to say sorry, that's like a big moment for him too.
Yeah, and even though it was kind of like and not necessarily in a direct way, but like I guess that was heavily implied. That's a cool detail too, as well.
Yeah.
And how about I think we talked about this earlier, but you said something about Captain America. I think it was in Age of Ultron, was it, that he was almost able to pick up Mjolnir?
Oh, right. That
and
moment.
You said something about him knowing about what was it, Bucky and Stark's parents?
Oh, yeah.
Could you just go back to that?
Yeah. So there was a theory going on that the reason that Captain America was almost able to lift it up was because the reason he was not able to pick it up, despite being almost able to, was the fact that he was keeping that secret from Tony. The secret that that he knew that Bucky killed Tony's parents. Okay. And like that's not something like that's a pretty big event.
Yeah.
And hiding that from him, like, and like the fact that they respect each other so much, hiding that is kind of like, should I really trust you? Right? So with that, sorry, what was your question?
Yeah, I just wanted you to elaborate a bit on that. So like, because in the end we see Captain America. He had Mjolnir, and that was like a huge moment.
Yeah, that was. I remember
theater.
cheering.
Yeah, I remember a lot of people. I think I was cheering too.
Okay,
like, it was a big moment.
Yeah.
So, just like, what do you think personally about that theory?
Okay.
Or what led up to Captain America?
Right. I think. Oh, personally, I don't remember my thoughts. The only thing that I know now is that the directors themselves said that he was always worthy. It was just Captain America being Captain America, and in the way that him lifting it up would have been a really big deal for Thor, right?
Okay.
So Thor kind of thought that he was the only one that was worthy enough to wield that hammer, but so him doing that probably would have hurt Thor a lot, and I think that kind of influenced the fact that yes, Captain America is definitely worthy because despite knowing he can lift it up, he chooses not to.
Oh, okay.
So that says a lot about Captain America. He's essentially making himself look weaker in attempts to like help Thor out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if like during that scene, Thor's watching, and he's like, "Oh no, he's gonna lift it up, right?" But Captain America chooses not to, and I think that was, despite being such a moment that's just glossed over, it like paid off a lot.
Yeah, and I remember distinctly like Thor, he was smiling, and then when he saw it budge a little, it was like it just died. That was funny.
Yeah.
And okay, and so is that something that the directors said? Like
they said
Captain
he was
America
always worthy since.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
And like going back to that moment in Age of Ultron, and then looking at it from Endgame, let's just say Captain America's arc doesn't really change too much, but you have Thor, where in Ragnarok he kind of loses everything. His father dies, his sister is evil, whatever. All that. Thor's character has also grown a lot to the point in Endgame where Captain America holding that hammer doesn't mean much to him because Thor, he's like, I guess he came from a really dark place from Infinity War after having lost
so
to
much.
Thanos. Yeah, losing everything. So him realizing that essentially his friend, Thor and Captain America, that he can lift that hammer was a good moment because he was cheering and like supporting Captain America.
Yeah, I remember that too. It's like he's worthy.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay. So I guess that also shows like Thor himself had a huge
he did have a good arc.
Okay.
How did that change exactly? I'm kind of blanking. I know he'd lost a lot throughout the events of Ragnarok. He lost basically Asgard, and same with Infinity War. He was salvaging his people on that tiny ship, and then Thanos comes, destroys half of it or all of it. I don't really know. Yeah, they destroyed a lot of it. So he's this king of this king of Asgard.
Yeah.
Basically everything is gone, and like that's a really like dark place to be in.
Mm.
And that's why you see him the way you see him in Endgame, where he's like depressed.
Yeah, yeah.
Him using humor and like brushing it off and like alcohol. So with Thor and his his depression, his alcoholism, his the fact that he uses humor, all of that like in the movie you see that it's funny, right? Like his jokes, and like you laugh at him for being like essentially like fat.
Yeah. Yeah, it became a meme.
Yeah, and like his beard, and like he's just not cleaned up. And like it shows it as funny, but if you look at it, it's actually really sad for where he is, right?
It's a bit dark.
Like he for Thor in the span of like a week or something, all of this loss just comes in, and like that's hard to happen. That's hard to go through.
Yeah.
So that's why you see him in such a dark place. And then finally, when he goes back in time, talks to his mother, it's a really good moment for him to start building him back up, and like taking that character all the way down gives him a lot of room for development. So his character arc isn't done. That's why in Endgame, you don't see a very definitive conclusion for him.
Yeah.
It's still left open. You have if you remember, you have Thor and Valkyrie talking at New Asgard on Earth. He's like, yeah, you're gonna be the new queen or king of Asgard, essentially, right? And then yeah, Thor, he's gonna join up with the Guardians.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I remember that part.
Yeah.
Now.
So with that, based off of Ragnarok, how his character took on a more humorous tone, I think the energies there with Thor and the Guardians works really well. So we don't know what's gonna happen yet, but we're gonna see it. And there's also a Thor 4 announced. I'm not sure when that releases.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah. So like that'll bring in a bunch of new content, and like where are we gonna see him grow? I'm not too sure.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And what do you personally think, like, after the events of Endgame? Like, where do you think Thor is gonna go with the Guardians?
You're gonna definitely see him build himself back up. Like, after realizing that he doesn't have to be this king of Asgard, he's gonna try to look for things and do things that benefit himself, and he's gonna work towards himself as a single person to be better. For most of his life, he was like, yeah, I'm the king of Asgard. He has to fulfill that role. But now that Asgard has their own place and he found a new person to lead them, he's able to go off himself and do the things that he wants to do. And if that's with the Guardians, then that's good. If that's with doing something with what was her name? Why am I blanking?
What was it?
Like his girlfriend or whatever, that the mutual Jane, that was her name.
Right.
Yeah, it was Jane. So if he does something with her, I don't know what they're gonna do, but that's kind of the plot of where Thor 4 is going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have Jane, who's gonna have Thor powers. So you're gonna have like a female Thor, which is very interesting for Thor to have. And I guess it's teased a little bit in Endgame, how Captain America holding the hammer didn't bother him. In fact, he was supportive.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see how he reacts to Jane and and her having powers.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know any of that actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of speculation, but
Okay.
some of it could be true, might be true, is
And-
true. We don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when would we be expecting like Thor 4? Do you know? How far down the road would that be?
It's not too far away.
Okay.
In movie terms, like usually sequels come in like 3 years, maybe, because Ragnarok was in 2017.
17. Okay.
So I'm not sure if it's next year or the year after that. I think it's 2021.
Yeah. Okay. So like, what would the next movie be? I know Far From Home just came
Right.
out like 5 months ago, I think.
Yeah, and that's the end of Phase 3. So we're starting. I don't know if they're gonna call it Phase 4, but Phase 4. That's Black Widow. That comes out in May, and yeah, she's dead. But I think I don't know too much.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been purposely avoiding reading too much into it so that I watch it with fresh eyes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Black Widow's character, for all her life she's been like a spy, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't have like a super distinct identity that she like follows with. I don't know if they're gonna dive into that, but you see her all the time and with different hairstyles. And aside from that being maybe just a director's choice, I think it has something to do with her character and how she's a spy. If you look at her in Endgame,
yeah, it's
her
different.
hair is it's like half blonde,
Yeah.
half red. And Infinity War, she dyes her hair red because of the events in Civil War. I think that's what I think.
She dyed her hair blonde?
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
okay.
Infinity War, it was blonde, right?
Yeah, okay.
So between the events of Civil War and Infinity War, essentially she was a fugitive because of the Accords and all that.
Yeah.
So dyeing her hair blonde was probably like a strategic option for her to do.
To like hide her identity.
Yeah, exactly. So seeing that change, maybe they do something with her in that, and I think that they're gonna like do something to have like someone new to hold the Black Widow mantle in that movie.
Right.
So like Natasha is gone, but maybe there's something in that character that they can just take and move forward.
Okay. So like chronologically that would still be like after Endgame. And so
Black Widow?
Yeah. The new movie.
I think it's a prequel. I think it happened.
Prequel.
Yeah, so I think those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because she's dead.
Yeah.
So it has to be in the past.
Okay, so-
I don't know what exactly they're gonna do with it though.
Okay. That's interesting because have they done that before where they like release a prequel, especially after like a huge milestone like this? Because Endgame was really
Right.
yeah, it was pivotal in like the MCU.
I can't recall a moment where they have released like a prequel type movie.
Okay, that's interesting
Yeah.
because that's new then, right?
Yeah. So like going forward with Phase 4, I think they're gonna start adding in new properties and developing the ones they already have. So you have Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Ant-Man, Thor's gonna have more movies. So you have these new properties, and they're gonna push and bring them into new environments with new properties in. So, do you know about Shang-Chi?
Yes, I heard of that one actually.
Yeah, so they're gonna give a movie to him, and I think it's something about him with the Mandarin. I mentioned that earlier with Iron Man 1. So if we go back to Iron Man 3, you have Iron Man who's essentially fighting the Mandarin, and at the end it's revealed that the guy that they found was not the actual Mandarin. So it's still a mystery out there that's been kind of dangling for the past while. I think Shang-Chi, at least I hope, that they go into that and we are showed what the real Mandarin is. And I think that'd be a very cool connection to make from such a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is interesting too. So I guess regarding what you said about Shang-Chi, I think I remember seeing it on media a lot as I think it advertised as being like, Asian representation.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So like regarding the thing, I remember in Endgame too, there was a moment where they got all the women
female.
Yeah. So regarding like, have you seen the MCU or like the, have you just ever seen it getting like political? In the past.
I don't think it purposely does it, but there's definitely things that they do to cater to audiences. So like maybe not specifically with being political, but being more representative of everyone, because you see these people or you see these heroes, they're doing these amazing things and in a way that you kind of want to be like them, right?
Okay.
So like you always want to relate to the people, right? So bringing in like Black Panther to represent all the black people who are, I guess they were a minority for a long time, but like because the MCU is such like a relevance in pop culture,
That's true.
them representing these smaller groups does a lot for them, I think. Like there's a whole movement with like Black Panther specifically, where people were raising money to let these minorities and like people who couldn't really afford it to watch this movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was actually a really big moment for them as being a I don't know specifically, but it had a very large percentage of a black cast.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the same thing they're kind of doing with Captain Marvel, being the first female superhero within the MCU is kind of a big deal. So there's that. With Shang-Chi, he'd probably be the first Asian
that's
to
true.
be represented on the big screen. And as people, you always want to be relating to the characters. So with them primarily being like white.
Yeah.
You have those people that have someone to look up to like that. Now you have black people that can look up to Black Panther, and you have females who can look up to Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Maybe like we can look up to Shang-Chi as someone who's like really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And hopefully they release more people or more heroes with more diverse backgrounds.
Backgrounds too. Yeah. And there was also this moment in Endgame. I think did someone mention that I think it was that scene where Captain America, he was sitting in that circle of people talking about their losses, and then there was a gay man in that circle, and was he represented by like one of the people behind? Was it a director?
Yeah, he was the director of the movie.
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that was a cool detail to hear too, because like they wanted to like represent that,
right?
Like not only race but also sexuality too.
So like the way they did that, I think it was pretty smart. He doesn't explicitly say like, "Oh, I'm gay."
Yeah.
He mentions something and he's talking to his husband, him being a guy. So I was like, "Oh, he's gay." But like it's not a big moment, but it's there. It's definitely there.
And it's significant.
Yeah. And like and they definitely do put a spotlight on that moment. And like you see this circle with just people who've lost throughout the snap, and they're just accepting it's fine. Like it's not a big deal, and it shouldn't be something like where it's looked down upon. It's just normalized, and like I think that's a really good moment.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so I guess I'm getting a little bit scared of the cameras cutting off again. So we should be reaching the limit on my SD card too.
Maybe.
Oh, that just cut off. Okay, so that means that one's gonna turn off in a couple minutes now.
Okay.
I guess just to conclude, we'll both come and stare at this camera. So thank you guys.
Okay.
Thank you guys for watching or for listening so much. This is our first time doing a podcast, and yes, how did you feel?
I thought it was actually pretty good. I came in with some expectations, and I think, despite the difficulties, it went out really well. There's not much. I mean, yeah, I think it's just it's mostly the difficulties that was, I guess, bad. But overall, I think it was really fun talking to him and sharing light on some topics.
Yeah. Okay. That one died. We're looking at this one now.
Oh, okay.
Let's keep going.
Okay, I think this is actually interesting.
Okay. Alright, so I guess the conversation, I found that it flowed like not too bad. There was I guess the Marvel portion was a bit less awkward because it's something that you're so passionate about.
Yeah, and also I think we kind of had like a trial with the music section.
That's true.
Yeah, so we kind of got more comfortable with the setup and everything.
Okay, yeah. So would you be up to do something like this in the future too?
Yeah, I definitely would.
Okay, that's cool to hear. Alright, so is there anything you would like to say before we end it?
Yeah, don't forget to comment, subscribe, and click on the notification bell so you get to see all of his new videos. And yeah, also subscribe to me if you want. I don't know.
Of course, don't forget to smash that like button, and of course subscribe if you. Oh my goodness. I guess we have audio only now.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and of course check out Andrew Chi's channel. There will be a link in the description, and please feel free to leave comments regarding what kind of content you'd like to see in the future, or if any of you would like to be featured on this podcast. Actually, you can contact me or Andrew, and we'll do something about it. So I guess thanks for listening.
Yeah. One more thing. Include maybe new topics that we can maybe discuss. And
that's true.
Yeah, things to like make. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I guess we're always open to suggestions too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much, and I guess
we're
out.
We're out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh,
That's slowly getting really bad.